Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode, I think we're on 39 now of Smite Talk. My name is Octane Pro. Joining me today, we do have the handsome FG3000. How's it going, buddy?
Wow, you're hitting on me already? Calm down, man. We just met.
It's been a little while, though. I gotta take you to... Do I have to take you to dinner first? Is that how it works?
You have to pick me up, and you have to talk to my parents.
Oh,
so, throw that out there.
Do I have to bring flowers? Do I have to bring flowers?
Second date, at least.
Oh.
I don't want you to seem too anxious, you know what
I mean? So, welcome to the Awkward Talk. My name is Octane Pro, joined by FG3000. We are the host of, excuse me, Smite Talk here. Smite Talk is going to try to make it back a weekly show. We were hitting that weekly before, but scheduling conflicts got in the way. Many of you guys may be used to the show being on Sundays. Well, we've gone ahead and moved that now to Tuesdays. So on Tuesdays from 10 to 1, it will be myself and FG. If it's after the show, I'll go ahead and do some games, some viewer games. And yeah, we're going to try out Tuesday. Tuesday is a little more convenient for my schedule, and FG is available, so it kind of works out well. So we'll be filling in just on Tuesdays for SNK. But anyways, let's go ahead here. And FG3000, I'm going to throw it to you. Why don't you tell people a little bit about our show? What is our show about?
What is our show? Let me tell you what our show is. Octane Pro, thank you for setting this up, even though you didn't tell me you were going to ask me this at a time. But don't you worry. While I'm talking to you and wasting time, I'm thinking about exactly what I'm going to say.
That a girl.
So Smite Talk is a chance for you, the viewer, the chat, or email person, to actually get your opinions out in front of maybe, 600 people to actually say what you think. People like myself and Octane, we always get a chance to say our opinions, but our opinions aren't more valuable than yours. So this is an opportunity for you to call in, get live on air, tell me that you don't like skins, tell me that Anahur's your favorite god, tell me that you want Arena League to come back, anything you want to talk about live on air. It's beautiful. Beautiful.
That was wonderful. Can we record that for every show now? That was good.
I really hope not.
So you guys have a few ways that you guys can ask questions or give your input for us. First way is via a program called Raid Call. Raid Call is very similar to Mumble in regards to, you go ahead, download the program, raidcall.com, and when you create an account, you just go ahead and put in like a group ID. Same thing as like a channel. It's just 7461039. Right up there on the screen, directly below my webcam. And what will happen is after you go ahead and join that channel, you'll kind of be moved around. There's different queues. So I'll go ahead and move you into the ready and waiting. And then from there, I'll shift you up to on deck. And then we'll slide you right into live show. And that's when you'll get a chance to talk with FG3000 and myself and have an opportunity to go ahead and talk about anything. Anything related to... don't tell Octane. Don't tell Octane, just read it in chat. But it'll give you an opportunity to go ahead and call in and talk about anything you guys want. Anything related to Smite. The good, the bad, the ugly. Feel free to call in. Let's talk about it. This is very, traditional kind of radio show kind of style. So the second way that you guys can go ahead, if you guys don't have a microphone, you can't go ahead and call in, email us. The email is smitetalk@gmail.com. I'll go ahead and put it in chat here on Twitch. And feel free to go ahead and email us. I will go ahead and bring that up here and take a look and see, kind of what we have here. But before we go ahead and jump into it, FG, let's talk a little bit. What have you been up to this week in the world of video games?
Well, we've been gone for longer than a week, so I guess these last few weeks, man. I've been avoiding conquest like the plague.
Oh, why?
Not the new conquest, not the new one, the old one.
Okay.
I'm the type of person that sees that new conquest map, and I'm like, I'm done with old conquest. Don't even want to play it. I'm done with it. I've just been playing Siege and Arena. All my recent game history is just Siege and Arena, Siege and Arena.
Okay.
I've dabbled in the PTS quite a bit, but it's not, scumbag FG though. It's not my thing because I don't get to keep my worshippers.
Oh,
I know that's what it is.
Wow.
So I'd rather play on the live servers because I want my worshippers. I hate to play like a 40-minute loss in Conquest on a PTS because this is like, well, I just lost. But at least if I lose on the live servers, 40 minutes, I'm like, at least I get some good worshippers in. No harm, no foul. But PTS, not so much. But I've been working on that, trying to just since there was not a lot of stuff going on with the old conquest map, I've just been mastering gods that I have never mastered before.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Okay.
so I knocked out, funny enough, I knocked out Ao Kuang, who I didn't have mastered.
Okay.
I knocked out Rama, who I didn't have mastered. But I'm purposely not going to master Nox and Hubwa. They're going to stay there, right where they are. Because
Okay.
I don't like gods where I have to press the button that often.
You mean the easy gods, like the noob cannon gods, huh? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah. The whole like, oh wait a minute, my cooldown's back up again. It's back up again. It's back up again. It's not my thing. I don't play shamans in WoW, and I don't play high cooldown gods in Smite, except for Chang'e. I give her a pass.
Oh, okay. Okay. Pretty good. I'm trying to think for me. Let's see what's going on. So many people might have saw that we're Smite update shows kind of on hiatus now. With
What?
Yeah, with F dot accepting a job with high res, and then with my weekends aren't as available as what they were before. We decided to kind of back burner the Smite update. Great show, very successful, a lot of fun, but well, a lot of work for me for prepping, 2 hours worth of, content to talk about on top of the fact of doing 2 shows back to back. If those of you guys not familiar, I would do Smite update for several hours and then Smite Talk. So it'd be 6 hours total that I would stream on Smite Game on Sundays. So we went ahead and decided to backburner Smite update. So that's kind of one new thing going on there. I'm trying to think what else going on with me. Hitting up YouTube a little bit more, kind of following down FG's kind of slope
I've seen
there.
Evolve and all the other, what is it? Just Evolve. I guess
That's right. I mean, there's some Evolve videos. I'm also coming out with more unboxing and reveal videos and Xbox One, unboxing. Went ahead and picked that up with Smite there coming out for the beta. Here's hopefully sooner than later. Picked up an Xbox One, so did a video on that, on a pop filter, some other stuff. I have some game reviews I'm doing, so kind of broadening things a little bit outside of directly just Smite. But yeah, so that's kind of been one of what I've been focusing on recently. It's just YouTube a little bit more. And but when it comes down to Smite, I have been playing a decent amount of PTS. I did play a lot the other night, so we have lots to talk about.
Yes, indeed.
Without a doubt here. So I went ahead and put a link in chat. Do you want to post that link for the patch notes if you have it in the Google Doc, so I can go ahead and pick that up real quick. So we are starting to get a few emails coming in from you guys right now, so I do appreciate it. Once again, you can email us at smitetalk@gmail.com. Feel free to go ahead and email us if you have any questions, comments about anything, any talking points. Also, feel free to go ahead and jump in Raid Call. It looks like we have 3 of you guys hanging out in Raid Call right now. So Glorious Toast, Chris, and Nintendo Oblivion. I do see you guys hanging out in Raid Call. We will go ahead and take those calls here very, very shortly. So I didn't even think about it. Do you have an Xbox One, or no?
I did. I picked up one. I added you as my friend. Obviously, you're just so popular.
Oh, whatever.
You didn't notice that I added you as a friend, but that's fine. That's fine.
Don't be that guy. Don't be this whole.
I
okay.
set up this whole generation because there wasn't really. I didn't think there was any killer apps for PS4 or Xbox One, so I kind of been sitting out this generation.
Yeah.
But I sold my PS. Let me tell you a story. Sidebar.
It's okay.
I hate eBay, by the way. So I sold my PS3.
Okay.
Right? I sold my PS3. It's worked the entire time I've had it with no problems whatsoever. I sell my PS3, I ship it off to some person in New Jersey.
Oh, those New Jersey people. Back. Don't tell DM Brandon. The armpit of the United States. Come on now, the armpit of the United States.
So, like I said, I'm a reputable guy. I send this guy a working PS3, and guess what email he sends me back?
Doesn't work.
Your PS3 doesn't work. I'm like, are you serious?
Liar. He's lying. I bet you he's lying.
Yeah. I know he's lying, so it's a hassle. But I sold my PS3 temporarily, at least, until this guy tries to do some type of chargeback on me. But picked up an Xbox One Dragon Age, and I forgot how much fun it is to lay in my bed and play video games all day.
Oh,
like when you're standing in the computer chair all day, kind of hunched over. It's relaxing, dude. To just sit back on a big screen and just bam. So
yeah,
I'm on the Xbox train as well.
We're gonna turn into those couch gamers without a doubt. I set up my Xbox right here next to my PC, and I actually have a capture card, a VariMedia capture card. So what I did was I just bought an HDMI splitter, and then come out of the Xbox, and one goes to my Benku monitor, which is a 27-inch, and then the other one goes to a VariMedia card, so I could stream any games on Xbox hopefully Smite here shortly. But I do have a large TV behind me, and when I have friends over, my plan is to go ahead and play some Xbox on there. I'm really excited to actually introduce friends of mine that are that are gamers, but are couch gamers, as I'm calling it. People that are
Yeah.
console gamers to Smite. So I'm really excited. I have a few friends looking forward to it, so it should be pretty cool. Did you get that link? Did you find it yet for me?
Yeah, sure did. Right here. Check this out. Bam. Bam. Click.
Where's it at? I don't see it. I don't
Smite
see it.
forums. Smite forums, not Reddit.
Where did you post? Oh, in chat.
Right there.
Oh, look at you.
Was I not supposed to do that?
No, you're good. I was gonna put it in the Google Doc, but you are ahead of the game.
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha.
So, anyways, before we go ahead and dive in here a little bit, let's see here. Trying to troubleshoot. Okay. Waiting for that person to figure it out. We'll go ahead and bring in Nintendo Oblivion here as our first caller. So let's see what he has to say to start out. So, Nintendo Oblivion, how's it going?
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Didn't expect me up yet.
No warning. We're throwing you right in. So what do we want to talk about today, Nintendo Oblivion? The stage is yours, sir.
I guess kind of one thing I want to talk about is kind of how there's going to be a shift in the meta with the new map. It's kind of like how that's going to be kind of interesting. I haven't touched the PTS at all because I just kind of want to go into that fresh.
Yep.
I kind of just want that fresh feel of, oh God, I want to experience it all right then. I kind of don't want that gradual change.
Okay. No. What do you think about that? Just kind of that fresh change here, FG.
Oh, I'm with you, man. You just kind of just jump in the deep end and just learn everything as fast as possible. Everything comes at you all at once. And I'm just like you, man. I didn't really jump too much into the PTS because first of all, the worshippers, and second of all, yeah, I want to kind of play it when it's live and it's worth everything, and all the changes are pretty much finalized, and a lot of the stuff is finalized. But I think as far as the core meta, a lot of people were thinking that maybe pre-patches on the PTS, when everyone kind of saw the changes, a lot of people thought maybe hunters would go to the solo lane, and it would be like warrior over there in the long lane with maybe like a type of magey support. I mean, there was all kinds of theory crafting going on, and as far as I saw, Octane, correct me if I'm wrong, I didn't see that shift. I still see pretty much the same people going to the same places. But item builds and diversity has changed quite a bit. So that's the meta that I've seen so far. And then I've seen the game kind of slow down just a little bit, but not in a bad way. I've like when I was playing on the PTS, I got the longest. Typically when I play on live, it's like a 20-minute game. But on the PTS, I saw constant 40-minute games, 40-minute games. I'm like, what is this? So I can see that the game is kind of slowed down just a little bit, but I don't think that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
But I didn't see a huge meta shift, but you tell me what you think.
I mean, the big thing is yes and no. When I first started, I played. I have two different sets of the PTS. I'm gonna say I first played it, when the new map was announced, and I played it then. And then I was finding anything goes type of play style where you would see like two mages in dual lane or two warriors in dual lane. Seeing these weird type of meta setups, which was kind of odd. We even saw, what did I see? It was what was it? It was a 1-2, what was it? Yeah, 1-2-1. No, I forget. There were just some weird lanes. I'm trying to think out the lane that I saw. It was like two people. No, it was three people in middle lane, one in solo, one in dual lane. It was this weird yeah, it happened this one game and it was really odd. But regardless, back to the point there though, found that there was a lot of just weird god selections for different lanes and weird items being picked up. And that was okay. That was cool. That was kind of the beginning of the PTS, and I was completely okay with that. And then I kind of backed off PTS for a little while, came back to it again, and I noticed that the lanes kind of calmed down a little bit. I don't know if more people were playing it, but I wasn't seeing such oddball lane combos and stuff like that. But what I have seen in a lot of PTS, which I'd be interested to see if any callers have seen this more, Ares getting picked up a lot for support, even over your Gebs or your Sylvanas. Seeing Arachne getting selected for jungle a decent amount as well. What else has been kind of different and new? There's been a lot. I mean, Osiris has been a big pick here. So there's been a lot of meta shifts when it comes down to it, but I think the big ones really come down to the items that we're seeing people toy with and play with quite a bit. So, what about you, Nintendo?
Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, since I haven't touched the PTS, but I think the biggest shift is going to be in like how a lot of the new items come into play, especially the
Okay.
new starter items. Since beforehand it's been, oh, you're in your duo lane or ADC,
Hmm.
you buy Death Toll. You buy it's like you buy if you're in solo lane, you buy Runeforged because everybody loves Runeforged.
Yeah.
And then mid you get Vampiric Shroud, and then now with all these new items like I get that with that Bluestone pendant, wasn't it? That it's
Sure.
basically
Mm.
everybody
Yeah.
has blue buff, but not
Yeah.
everybody needs blue buff though.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
so it kind of creates this thing where mentality where certain gods are gonna kind of like be more towards one like specific the Bluestone pendant, even though it might be better for them if there's also the matter of mana efficiency as well, where better players might be less inclined towards something with Bluestone pendant, where so they don't need to spam abilities as much to get their
Hmm.
clear out or whatever, because they're just more experienced and know how to more efficiently clear.
Or
So
they're
it's just
playing
kind of-
chalk or something like that.
or they're playing chalk where you just never run out of mana.
Yeah, I mean, it opens the doors for a lot of stuff like that. Just exactly like you said. Like, I play Nisha solo a lot, so I'm gonna probably pick up Bluestone Pendant just so I can just throw Ring Toss repeatedly on cooldown and always have MP5 going, and then his
Yeah.
natural passive with HP5 done. But same token, if you're playing like Chalk or something, or if you're crazy once again like me playing Thanatos solo, I can just go with Death Toll. I don't need Bluestone Pendant, obviously.
Mhm.
So I think the doors have opened up quite a bit. Even with hunters, you can pick between going damage or attack speed. There's a lot of things that you can kind of play with now. So yeah, man, I think it was a really good idea to take a lot of the item bloat,
Mhm.
is what I call it, because a lot of items did a lot of things, and that's why we kind of had a stagnant item diversity in
Yep.
Smite. So now you kind of have to pick what you want to be. Like, if you want penetration, you've got to build penetration. You can't just buy these all-in-one items that do everything. So, good stuff.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. Any last comments there, Nintendo?
Just one thing. It's
Sure, go
about
for it.
PTS since I haven't touched it. The attack speed buff. How is it? Because I've never. Everybody kind of just picks it up whenever I'm watching them, and they don't make any comments on it. Like,
Yeah.
is it just kind of? It's just kind of there.
It's not like it's God's gift to the world type of deal. But it's pretty much one of those things where even like in dual lane, you're still handing that off to your ADC.
Yes,
Where I
but
see that occur.
do you think there'll be like beforehand to be like, oh, there are major fights over blue buff in duo lane? Will that you think that's going to be a thing now, or where the attack speed buff, or it'll just be people are more willing to let that go? Will that kind of just what do you think will happen there?
I'm trying to think. The games that I did play, now that you say that, I do recall a lot of fights, a lot of rotations over towards blue, especially from like mid and stuff like that with jungle, over towards blue to secure blue. So
I
yeah,
called it blue like 3 times.
I think it's blue, but I'm not sure. It might be green, but it might be blue. I'm not sure. But yeah,
Green
so
buff is the stupid one
I
that made
know.
it so that you can play warriors.
yeah, green buff Odin. But outside of that, yeah, I've been seeing more and more rotations towards solo lane to go ahead and capture that mana buff. So yeah,
So yeah, that's kind of like I went over the big thing, but I have lots of other small questions, but I'm pretty sure other people will go over them. So
that's okay. I appreciate you calling in today. Thank you.
no problem.
All right, so let's jump to our
Have
first.
you noticed, like, all
What's
of
up?
our callers are so respectful? They're like, hey, I could talk all night, but let me let other people have a chance.
Yeah,
Like,
I know,
everybody
right?
does that. Like, everyone does
Except every once in a while, we have that one caller that'll be on here like for 2 hours if you let them. And so, we got a few emails rolling in. If you guys do want to email us, don't have an opportunity to call in. We do encourage people to
Or
call
if you're
in.
just shy.
Yeah, yeah, that too. Email is SmiteTalk@gmail.com. But anyways, let's go ahead and break out our first topic here, and then we'll bring another caller, go over emails. So what's our first topic for tonight that we did have to discuss?
I title it Smite 2.0, exclamation point.
Can you make
That's what I
that?
wrote.
Can you make that noise again? I didn't get a chance to capture it. I want to capture that.
Absolutely not. So we kind of already dived into a little bit with the last caller about,
Yep.
the new Smite conquest. So I don't know if I'm going to say too much more about it.
Okay.
Other than the fact that it is coming out tomorrow, obviously. So
What?
the game is brand new tomorrow. So one thing I want to tell people that have been playing like Siege and Arena and they've been scared of conquest, there's going to be a lot of obviously there's lots of people that have been playing on the PTS, a lot of streamers, a lot of pro players. That's their job, to jump ahead of people. But most of the bulk of the Smite community, the biggest part of the Smite community, has not touched the new map. So if you've been scared to jump into Conquest because you were kind of like, oh, I don't know how it works, I don't know the meta, now is your chance to jump in while everything is brand new. Most people don't know what they're doing for the most part. New items galore. I mean, this is your time to jump back into Conquest if you've never played Conquest.
Yeah. You know what? No, let's take a step back here first. I think there's a few things to talk about here, but
we'll take a step back.
right off the back, take a little step back here with it. You talk about Smite 2.0. We're talking about what are we talking about here? We're talking about the UI. When you get into, and let's be specific here. The UI for the out of game menus, not in game. I haven't seen that be adjusted quite yet. I assume that'll come eventually. Also outside of that, we're talking about. You have the map, the Conquest map, which is a huge difference here. We have new items as well that are in there, and then we have god changes. So those are kind of the big ones there when we talk about Smite 2.0. So what are your thoughts on the UI? We haven't really gotten a lot into that. There's been a lot of rumored posts on Reddit regarding, it's because of the Xbox and they wanted to overhaul it to make it more friendly for the console. What are your thoughts on the new out-of-game UI?
I like the direction it's going, but it's not there just yet. But you and I have been playing Smite for a long time, and these UI changes have come out, periodically throughout the life of Smite, and they aren't ever 100% perfect when they first come out. Like the Smite UI we have right now is, revision after revision. So I like the direction it's going into. It's still just we need more help, and obviously it's going to get much, much better. I think there's a lot of screen real estate dedicated to the Smite gods. Like when you look at the screen, there's this big, huge portion of the screen that's dedicated to the god, which is cool. But then a lot of stuff is shuffled over into all these little small categories, and there's a lot of clicking.
Yeah.
And, I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to open up they're trying to make it so that 2 years from now, they can use this UI and still be able to add more and more stuff to it. Like we're already getting to the point now with the old UI where like a god like Ymir has all these skins. He has these claps and dances and waves, and he has these voice packs, and it's just like too much in this one small condensed space. So I see they're trying to open it up and future-proof it is the best word I can use.
Yeah.
But we're gonna need more feedback on Reddit. It's not gonna be the last and final revision. But I do like the direction where it's going, and it saves high res sometime. I know I'm kind of a little bit biased, like I care about the developers a little bit, but it saves them the time of having to have this such a separate version of Xbox Smite and a separate version of PC Smite. And they haven't come out and said it, but I do believe that they're making that UI universal for Xbox and PC. It's
a smart way to go when it comes down to a publisher. I know some people argue against it and get frustrated, and I know that Hi-Rez, if those of you guys have been looking on their website, like they're hiring like crazy right now. But at the same time, if you can do something once and save yourself from doing it twice or a second time through, it makes sense. I don't know all the straight up details regarding like with Xbox in regards to. You had said a lot of things in regards to things being matched up and stuff like that and it being on the same field. The only thing I don't know about is release timing, and I heard it somewhere, but I may be wrong, so I can't say exactly where I heard it from. Please don't quote me. I think I heard something about the fact of, and someone from Hi-Rez, if you're in chat, tell me I'm wrong, that the Xbox will be one god behind because of the release cycle with Microsoft, I think, is what I heard. I may be incorrect, but that's what I believe I heard. So it sounds like it's going to be very, very close. So I'm really excited about it. What I'm interested to see, though, is if we see any god or meta shifts with Xbox because of the controller and the settings and stuff like that. And some people may say, the controller's not going to matter, blah, blah, blah. But it kind of does. It kind of does as to what gods it's easier to hit certain skill shots and stuff like that. So we'll have to see. I don't know how we went from Smite 2.0 to Xbox, but we kind of looped it all back around.
I mean, I agree with you. I think at the same time, there are things about the controller that maybe the PC really can't, vice versa. Like the PC has an advantage over Xbox controller. But I do think there are some things that maybe it's going to open up a little bit. Like you think about the Smite, you think about an Xbox controller with the analog stick, like remember that game like Fight Night where you kind of did like these little half circles?
Yeah.
Maybe they add a guy that has an ability with like a half circle, which you can easily do with a mouse. So maybe the Xbox influences the PC version in a positive way. I know a lot of people are saying it's going to be negative because of the controller, blah, 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 PC master race. But maybe there's some positive impacts. We don't know. We don't know yet.
Yeah, a lot of things. So jump back to Smite 2.0 here a little bit. I'm excited about it. The UI was a little, but it happens with every release. The UI was a little,
It's drawing, right? Because you've been used to the same thing for
Yeah,
forever.
it is. I was like, okay, where do I go for this? I think I go here. Okay, let's try it out. So, it's just getting a little lost in the UI, but they're definitely moving in that direction. I've seen some improvements even over the last few weeks here, so I'm excited for that. The map looks great. The items look good too. So.
Yeah, and I like the fact that they did warrior passes. Back in the day when they did the big warrior pass, right? They hit all the warriors all together, and they did a hunter pass, and they did a healer pass, which I'm so happy about the healer pass. And if you don't know what happened to the healers, basically before, the current Smite right now, you can basically just build power, and you get more magic damage, and you heal more. Right, it's an all-in-one stat. You just keep building power and you keep healing better and healing better. Well, now you actually have to itemize your heals, right? So there are items in the game like the Rod of Aspis, and
oh my word!
I hate saying that word, but there are items in the game now that influence your heals now. So you can't just stack power and be a better healer. You actually have to itemize for heals, and I think that's kind of the theme of this big, huge overhaul is that you have to itemize for the things that you want to do. You can't just build these all-in-one items, and I think that's a really, really good move.
Yeah, for sure.
As far as Smite 2.0, what else is in Smite 2.0?
We kind of went over the map, the gods, stuff like that. We'll kind of get more into the nitty-gritty there, moving forward. We have a lot of item changes, a lot of god changes, but I think we'll get into a lot of that with our conversations here with people and also with emails that we got. So we're going to take an email, and then we'll bring in Chris here on Raid Call. Don't forget, guys, feel free to call in. The Raid Call information is directly below my webcam, raidcall.com, and then the channel is just 7461039. So let's go ahead here and take our email here coming from John. And the email says...
Are these live emails or these are old emails?
No, these are... Okay, this email came in 4 days ago, so not that old. Okay. It says... Let's see. I tried to... Said something about... He said, you need to remember that China is a communist country and only Hong Kong really has the freedom of speech. They're probably censoring Smite's artwork. This probably was a response to maybe one of our previous shows. Very similar to World of Warcraft. This is probably a very different situation than in Australia, which is much a freer country, he says. Also, I'm a new player, and I've found that almost always do well as Thanatos. I think he's very powerful and wondering if his ultimate radius needs to be decreased. With his Death Sigh ability warrants the amount of damage it does due to it having to be aimed. So he just wants to know really what are our thoughts on Thanatos and the ultimate, and do we feel that it should be decreased in the radius size? Thank you, John, for the email.
Absolutely not. There's a lot of questions in there. So was he talking about the radius of the 3 or the ultimate? Which one was he talking about?
He was talking about the ultimate. Was his starting point?
It can't be big enough. Let me tell you.
Okay.
I don't think it's on that line where it's too big. Let me give you a good example. Old Chalk, remember his axe throw before it got nerfed? That was too big. To the point where no matter what you did, you got hit by it. It was just, you were in it, done and done. With Thanatos, there's a lot of really good players out there with really high skill ceilings that will make you look like a complete noob missing your ultimate. And I've done it live on my YouTube channel and on Twitch. I've seen other people do it. I think it's fine. I think it's at that perfect line where it's still very missable and very dodgeable, even though it's one of those moves that comes down so fast. It's not guaranteed. So I think the fine on it.
Let's see here. Sorry, 1 sec. With Thanatos, I actually played Thanatos last night, and don't ever let me play him again. Just want to put it out there. Just want to put it out there. I am terrible with Thanatos. His ultimate, I feel, is pretty easy to hit. I don't think the radius is too... I don't think it's too much, to be honest with you. It's not difficult to hit. I wouldn't say it's crazy easy, but it's not really difficult. So I think it's in a good spot right now, to be honest with you. And I don't think with Thanatos, I don't think he needs an adjustment right now. I think with everything I've seen and when I played him last night, I can't warrant a change at this point. So I don't know that I would make any changes there.
The best way to hit Thanatos' ultimate is to not think. As soon as he gets in the air, just come down.
That's
just
right.
Go.
Oh,
Just do it.
boom!
Don't think about it. Just go.
Yeah, right? Right. All right, so let's go ahead here. We're going to bring in Chris. Chris, welcome to Smite Talk. How's it going? Got to hit the push to talk button. Bottom right-hand corner. Push to talk.
It's going fairly well.
Hey, there we
Hello.
go. So, Chris, what do you want to talk about today?
Well, one of the previous patches was about Sylvanas's nerf, kind of, and I was just curious about how that affects, or how that's going to affect him with the new PTS and everything.
Okay, sure. Let me go ahead here. I just wanted to bring up to see. I wasn't seeing there were any adjustments to him. Am I missing that, or are there? Let's see here. No, I'm not.
His 3.
Yeah, right now.
That was a patch before the whatchamacallit, right?
No, I'm just talking about
PTS
the. Yeah, I'm just thinking about the PTS right now. It looks like that the ability now only affects gods. That's the wisp. So, that's why people were kind of saying in chat earlier that some people were like, "Oh, Sylvanas is useless now." Some people were saying we're disagreeing there. What do you think, FG? I know you don't play a lot of Guardians a lot, but
Guardians.
What are your thoughts on having your Guardian be able to heal the minions in the lane, and now not be able to do that and just be able to heal like the gods?
I think this is a work in progress nerf.
Okay.
So I think we should keep an eye on this one. So right now it only affects gods, right?
Yep.
With a new upcoming patch.
The upcoming patch, yes.
There are items that Guardians are building into right now, and I forgot the name of it. I'm sorry. The tank item where if you heal, you get protections. Whoever you heal, you give them protections. I forgot the name of it. Hold on. I know chat's gonna correct me, but I'm gonna beat them.
Nope. I'm just
What's the name of the item?
Just gonna sit
What's the
here.
name of that item? Anyway, there's an item in the game where you heal, and it increases the physical and the magical protection of the gods that you heal. So I think what they did was like, okay, we're gonna start adding these items that give movement speed to gods if you heal them, give protections to gods when you heal them. Let's bring Sylvanas back and take a look at them first, because we're adding a lot of bloat to heals that Guardians have easy access to. So I think they wanted to bring him down a little bit to kind of look
Lotus
at
Crown.
what it's gonna do. There you go. So I think that's what they did.
Yeah.
And then of course they wanted to slow that lane down, that long lane down, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people like Apollo, for example, they nerfed his clear. So I think they wanted to slow that lane clear down just a little bit, and then I think they didn't want to over bloat heals on a guy like Sylvanas, who's already really strong. So keep an eye on it. It might be permanent, it might not be.
One of my biggest issues with that as a Guardian player is the fact of having the ability to actually do damage to the minions in that lane. My understanding is that it doesn't do damage anymore. Same thing like with how it doesn't heal minions. My understanding is it doesn't damage minions either. So that kind of becomes a little more problematic. It was very helpful when you're laning with your ADC to be able to pop that, not only to heal, your ADC, but then also to heal the minions, but also damage the opponent minions. And you don't really have that opportunity anymore. And for the very limited lane clear that Sylvanas had, it was okay. But it wasn't anything crazy, and now you don't even have that anymore. So that's the one disappointing thing about this that I'm seeing the most of. What else?
The reason they kind of nerfed him
Sure.
was so that whenever they add the new items, it's not like Sylvanas is so OP that he's always banned. And so
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot that Sylvanas will be able to do with a lot of these new items now, and it will make him strong again, should we say. So I can see the adjustment there. It just kind of sucks, to be honest with you, for lane clear. That kind of bothers me. I mean, I don't know that I see any great avenue. And some people may say, well, Sylvanas is supposed to allow, your ADC to lane clear, and I understand, but it's always good to be able to get the damage from Sylvanas and also be able to help clear lane a tiny bit, even though it is super slow when your ADC does rotate, and if you're stuck in that lane to defend or something like that.
does this mean that some supports like Geb or Athena, will they be seeing a little bit more play since the Sylvanas plays?
You nailed it. You absolutely nailed it. So we'll see more of those Guardians come back. And then this is probably why you've been seeing Ares, because Ares can actually push the lane actually semi-decently.
Yeah.
So this is why you see those gods come back. And this is another reason why the clear has been slowed down the long lane. On her, Rom and Apollo have all been nerfed as far as I'm concerned, as far as clear goes, to try to bring some people up. And this is kind of the balancing act, right? Do you bring everybody up or do you bring people down, right? It's always a balancing act. So I think this time they brought people like Sylvanas down and Apollo down to try to bring other people back up to the meta. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Any more questions or comments, Chris?
Oh no, I think that's about it. Thank you.
All right, thank you for calling in. Don't forget, guys, you guys can go ahead and call in via raidcall.com, download the program, and use the group ID, kind of like a channel, 7461039. So taking another email question here. Once again, you guys can feel free to email us at SmiteTalk@gmail.com. I'll put that link in chat for you fine folks as well, and we'll go from there. So this one comes to us from Ben. He says, hey, Octane, it's Forbes. Just wanted to say Arena League should come back. Carnival Neath is horrible, mainly the voice pack, and Raw Heal needs to be nerfed. And lastly, you should be able to convert a high amount of favor into a low amount of gems. So there's a lot in that. Let's start out the first part. Arena League. What are your thoughts on Arena League, FG?
This is probably, if we ever, how they do like on a sitcom, they'll do like a show talking about all like the greatest shows they ever had and kind of all the things that all the wacky things that happened. If we ever did that, us talking about Arena League is probably the most reoccurring theme on our show.
Yep.
Forever.
It always is.
Arena was sticking out. Bring Arena back, or bring Arena League in. Not Domination, funny enough. I thought it might be, more people would ask about bringing Domination back. Nope.
Yep.
It's Arena League. Always, always, always. So
yeah, it's crazy the amount of people that are just.
Man.
There's nothing, there's a lot of people. I don't forget what the stats are, but I thought. Now, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought Arena was actually played more than Conquest. Am I?
The last time they send those stats out, you're absolutely right.
But that was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, they haven't done it. I don't know why. I love those numbers, dude. I wish they would do it every quarter at least.
Yeah, and like in that cool little graphic that kind of shows the splits and all that. Like, those long graphics that a lot of companies come out with. And if there is a name for that, please, somebody that's into marketing in chat, please tell me. But those long statistic graphics that just kind of have like cool little graphics to them, numbers, stats.
Infograph?
Is that what it's called?
Like when you have all they have all these beautiful bar graphs and stuff like that, and they'll say, Agni was the most played god in Mage, middle, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, you know what? I think infograph is correct. I'm looking it up because it reminds me of like what I see a lot coming out of like MLG, for example. They put out a lot of these like infographs, and like here's a link in chat to what I'm talking about.
Like esports is doing better than the Super Bowl.
Exactly. That's what I'd love to see a little bit more, actually. That would be nice. It would also help to justify some of the decisions that Hi-Rez makes as well when they're like, oh, we're not putting Arena League back in. Well, why? Oh, well, here's the statistics. Here's why.
Therein might lie the problem.
What do you
kind of nailed it, right? Like when you see like New WoW with, I'm just throwing an example, New WoW with a 75% win rate.
Yep.
People are like, hey, you need to nerf New WoW, but I don't know. Maybe they don't want to show all that all the time.
Yeah, right. So you complained about the Neath Carnival voice pack. I have not heard this yet, so please let me know.
It's not the best voice pack that I've ever heard. It's the Brazilian, the Brazil Carnival, that skin.
Okay.
It's probably not the best one that I've ever heard in Smite. It's probably one of my least favorite. One of my favorite gods, top 5 gods. Probably one of my least favorite voice packs down there with Guan Yu. But the skin is so good. So good, and that's not creepy to say that, but the skin is so good.
Okay. So let's go ahead. Not a ton really to talk about in that email, just kind of a little rant there. But thank you for going ahead and emailing in. Do appreciate it. This one comes to us from Michael. Says, I want to know if there could be a change in the bots used in it. Let me read on here to see if it makes more sense. If it can be changed up to use all gods, not just the same ones over and over again. Okay. So he's asking, can you decide on what the bots are compared to the bots being predefined? I think they only have so many bots released right now because of the AI built, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can go to like a custom mode, and then you can select the bot that you're up against. But you're right, the AI isn't like I jousted against a Thor, and he was just doing all kinds of dumb things. Like he worked, but he's not as good as like Ra. Like Ra's actually pretty good. He's legit. He has good MLG jukes.
He's legit.
I've died to Ra bot sometimes.
Nerf Ra bot. OP.
But I don't think all the other gods are ready for that type of thing, and I don't think it's that high of a priority.
Okay. No, makes sense. So let's go ahead here. Let's move on to our second subject. We'll bring in Glorious Toast after this second subject here. He's hanging out in raid call. So what is our second subject?
Oh, they were taking a caller. Sorry, I was trying to talk to somebody in chat about Chimichanga, who I think's voice crack is amazing. I love Chimichanga's voice crack.
You would.
Oh man, such a good. All right, favorite new item. So I'll start this off. Just kind of give you guys my personal favorite new item that's coming to Smite. I don't know if I can pick just one, so I'm not, since I made the question and I'll make the rules.
Oh wow, okay. Whatever.
Dictator FG.
Yeah, man. Let's see how it is.
So, back in the days.
Back in my day.
Back in the days when I used to stream a lot, I used to always yell out 10-minute towers.
Wait, you streamed? You
I used
streamed?
to stream back in the days.
Whoa! My mind's blown!
I know.
You YouTube hooker. How dare you?
But I used to love saying 10-minute tower. Like,
Okay.
get your tower down in 10 minutes.
Okay.
So, the newest item that is coming to Smite in the next patch is the Crusher, which I cannot wait to be in the game to kind of play with it and see what type of gods I can use with it. If you don't know what it is, basically, each basic attack against towers and phoenixes grants a stack that increases your attack speed by 60% and movement speed by 3%. So what this means is you can bring down towers faster, and you're able to kind of get out of trouble with the movement speed stacks if somebody comes down and tries to aggress on you.
I love this. I love this.
Crusher is finally an item that kind of pushes you. Once again, like we talked about before, you can actually build towards what you want to do. So if you want to be a backdoor tower stealing Phoenix, stealing Loki, you can do that. You can throw this in your build and kind of focus on that. So very, very awesome. And then since I said I didn't want to.
I know, man. Just keep going. You got to talk about all the items now? Go for it.
Just one more. Achilles
right.
Spear.
All right.
Achilles Spear. I like it. I like Achilles Spear. It finally gives you an item that you can just ramp up all your stats, right? You can, let me look up exactly which stats they were. Wasting time. Attack speed, life steal, and movement speed at the cost of just a piddly 30% more damage. If you're a hunter,
yeah, this is awesome.
With your positioning, it's a fantastic item. So I don't know if I would ever build it on my Nija because I'm always, people are going to jump on me because of Nija. But if I'm playing a hunter, that's what I'm going to go for.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, those are the items that they're coming out with are pretty exciting. I like the Crusher item. It's kind of cool. I know they've played around a little bit with like interactions with towers. Like, what was the one? The one was like a tower shield and stuff like that was out for a little while.
Yeah, that's a long time.
You remember that?
Guan's passive.
Yeah, like there was a bunch of these like adjustments they were trying to make with towers, and they just didn't really fit right. And I'm really glad to see the Crusher come out because I feel like this item is kind of cool, very cool and effective. I'm eager to see who they put it on because a lot of the times you end up seeing either your ADC or your jungler kind of steal the towers. Like when,
Sure.
a fight's over in solo lane and you're yelling and curse, ADC push left, ADC push left or whatever to push that lane. This item is like perfect for that. And as you talked about too with the Crusher, it's nice to be able to kind of sneak out a little bit there and scoot out a little faster, which is kind of nice because it's always helpful.
Backdoor Cupid.
Yep.
I'm telling you, dash, movement speed, see ya.
So for me, I picked the item that my favorite item there, and I want to talk about because I think this is one of the items that affects everybody in the game the most here is that Bluestone pendant. This is an item that gives you 15 physical power plus 90 health and plus 5 MP5. Passive restores 4% of your missing mana every 5 seconds. And this is kind of one of the starter items. And it's interesting with this item because the timing of it. They go ahead and decide to go ahead and put it in the same time that they decide to remove the blue buff from the dual lane side. And we see the kind of split of your speed buff there between movement speed and attack speed. So we see the blue kind of get pulled from there. And right off the back, mana buff always went towards your ADC. So this starter item, there hasn't really been... I mean, I guess you could say Death Toll for a little while, was a big item that was picked up, starter item for an ADC there, just to kind of give you a little bit more longevity in lane. And now we see Bluestone Pendant. And I guess my question for you, just kind of opening up the discussion for it is, do you think that Bluestone Pendant effectively replaces mana buff?
Yes.
Well, that conversation sucked. All right.
Because as long as you're using your abilities, you're never gonna have a full bar, so you're always gonna be ticking up. It influences you to use your abilities on cooldown almost to a degree. And yeah, I think Bart said it best. It's kind of like a clear cast, right? You always have enough mana to do one more ability if you're using it correctly and you're kind of tearing it off right. And hopefully it opens the door for people in lane like Freya ADC. Freya ADC used to get bullied quite a bit because Hunters cleared so well and she didn't clear well enough to keep up with them. Well, now she can just burn her mana. She's going to have plenty to go toe-to-toe with these Hunters. It opens up the door for a lot of different characters and a lot of different roles that we haven't seen for a while. Yeah, so Bluestone Pendant is actually a really good item. Nice job, I think.
Yeah, I do like the Bluestone Pendant. I did have an opportunity to play a little bit of ADC in the PTS and did enjoy having it. Of course, blue buff, of course, was was a better. If you were to have side by side, I think any hunter would go ahead ADC and select the blue buff because one, it doesn't take up a item slot, and at the same time, the blue buff just how strong it was. But taking a look though, and let's think about it. What other gods can benefit from this? From picking this up outside of ADCs, and the first one that comes to mind, and starting as a starting item possibly, is Hercules. Hercules in solo lane with the Bluestone Pendant, allowing him to have that additional mana. Now, granted, can you imagine if you have blue buff, and you have Bluestone Pendant, and you have meditation? Like, it's overkill. It's complete overkill. I'm not recommending you have it. I'm just saying the opportunities are huge. I guess my question is, do you see Hercules or any other god picking up this item? I mean, if you go ahead and take a look at the stats for this item, it's giving you physical power, helpful for Hercules. It's giving you some health, also helpful for Hercules, and it's giving you MP5. And then on top of that, it's restoring some of your mana. So it's not such a bad item for someone like Hercules that's so reliant on him for that health regen. So, what are your thoughts on?
He's terrible with mana usage as well. So that's very, very good one. I already said Nija, which you like to ignore every time I say his name. I don't know why. Is there like an issue? Is there an issue with him?
No, you're great. You're great. Go for it. Go for it.
And I also want to apologize. I'm sorry. I shouldn't even talk about Freya because I don't even play Freya. Freya can't use Bluestone Pendant, physical only.
Yep.
But yeah, when it comes to Nija and Hercules, gods like that for sure. Maybe if you can throw Xbalanque over them in solo lane, which I've seen people play with quite a bit.
Dude, Xbalanque is so good right now. He's so good.
So throw Xbalanque over there. So there's a couple options. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm trying to see, chat, if you guys have any other options, feel free to post them in chat. I'd be eager to see, who you guys have played using the Bluestone Pendant. To kind of find out, who you're seeing as effective with him. I'm just trying to think.
Bastet, who is terrible with mana usage. You do
That's
one
true. That's
leap
true.
in, two abilities, you're like, oh, I'm OOM.
Yeah, but what do you with Bastet? Are you gonna pick that up over Bumba's? Because it's
I'm gonna go solo lane with her. What are you talking about?
Whoa.
I don't care about jungle.
I only play solo lane. That's not job. Okay, I see how it is. People are saying Guan Yu. I can see that. Very effective on him. Good sustain, constant mana. I like that. That makes sense. I'm trying to see if there's anyone else that posted in here. I don't see anyone quite yet. So let's go ahead. We're going to bring in Glorious Toast here in just a minute. We have plenty of emails lining up here, guys. Appreciate you guys emailing us. If you haven't had the opportunity, feel free to. SmiteTalk@gmail.com. Also, before we go ahead and bring in Glorious Toast, we have about 555 of you hanging out in chat. Do myself and FG a favor. Directly below this video screen is a streamer feedback button. Click on it. Once you click on it, go ahead and select Octane Pro and leave feedback for Hi-Res Studios regarding this show. If you're enjoying it, you're having a lot of fun with it, you have some constructive criticism, leave it there for Hi-Res Studios to see. It allows us to continue coming back and doing this show. So let's go ahead. We'll bring in Glorious Toast here. Glorious Toast, welcome to Smite Talk. How's it going? Hello. Hit the push to talk button. Bottom right hand corner. Push to talk. Push to talk. It tells you. I think it's F2. That's the default. Maybe.
Wrecked right back at you, Glorious.
Glorious Toast is in chat right now. Like I see him be posted in Twitch chat. He said I am greater than DM Brandon, and that is not correct, but I appreciate it. So we're gonna go ahead and I'll bump him down. Maybe he'll get his stuff in gear there, and we'll bring him back in. In the meantime, here, let's go ahead bring on another question here, and then we'll jump on to our third subject. And this one
And
comes.
speaking of,
Go
I
for
wanted to jump in front of you real quick. Sorry about that.
Do it. Do it.
So
It's okay.
speaking of keeping this show on the air and giving us feedback and all that good stuff, you want to keep this show on the air. Let me tell you why. If and you know, don't ask me how I know this, but inside the high-res studio, there are screens almost in every room, and they play whatever's playing on Smite game. It's playing right now. So if you have
Hi-Res Studios. Hi-Res Studios.
If you have feedback that you want to get to higher res like directly, there's probably some designer looking up at this like, that's not a bad idea. I can't promise that. But just throwing that out there. And since the show is during the week, you have a much better chance of getting heard than the Sunday show.
Maybe they can send us some care packages. We take beer, we take candy, we take vegetables if you're FG3000. He's lame. We take t-shirts. Feel free to. So, anyways, let's go ahead here. We'll take our second question here. It comes to us from Metallica21. It says, how do you guys feel about the recent nerf to the top 3 hunters? Anhur, Apollo, and Ram. It seems like they are more very late game gods now, and seeing that most matches don't seem to make it to late game right now. Do you think the base attack speed buff is enough to make them competitively viable again? So let's talk about it. We have Anhur, Apollo, and Ram, and we've kind of seen this weird swap where now we're seeing Xbalanque being played a lot on the PTS. We're seeing AMC being picked up a lot, these are the gods. If you guys remember, DM Brandon's tier list were at the bottom of the barrel, and now we're seeing a complete swap with that. So what are your thoughts on these gods now, FG, and just kind of where the previous dominant hunters have kind of gone?
I think the guy made a really good point that a lot of games are ending early, and that kind of neuters their ability to take off, right? This whole shift in all these hunter changes is to make hunters more of a. If you compare the Smite World Championship from this year to the Smite launch tournament, hunters ran that launch tournament. Yeah. But this time, Barracuda's awesome. Let me just say Barracuda's awesome, but MLC was like running, like mages were running this tournament, and hunters were just kind of there, just doing their thing in the long lane. Yeah. They didn't really carry games like they used to. So if you're going to have a character in the game that you have to babysit, like you have a support, you're babysitting them, you're making sure they stay safe, you're warding for them, there has to be some type of payoff. Like, why am I babysitting you when I can just let Solo do his thing by himself, super safe, then take over the game? So this is kind of the reason why they shifted on hunters a little bit, to make them more late game explosive. Yeah. But they make a good point, because a lot of these casual conquest games, they end really early. I don't really know the answer to that one, to be honest.
Yeah, it's quite interesting.
I don't know if you can really balance the game based off of games ending fast, but go ahead.
Sure. It's interesting the direction they've kind of gone with hunters. We saw the blue buff, which was benefiting the ADC role in dual lane, be removed. We then go ahead and see the bluestone pendant be introduced in order to help cater to those ADCs. So you remove an item which makes ADCs so viable to stay in lane for so long, which allows them their XP to gain even faster, because there's in lane forever. And so that's kind of one thing that affected it. And you kind of have to wonder, what direction they're going with hunters. Do they want hunters to not have the influence in the game that we've seen in the past and be so strong and so powerful? Time and time again, we see a hunter that stays in lane. Currently on the live development that's going on right now, we see a hunter stay in lane for quite a long time. Let's talk about hunters versus, let's say, even just another god in that lane like support. I'm pretty sure you see that support go back multiple times before you see that ADC go back because of the mana drain. Well, now we're not going to see that. So what happens? Do we see hunters going back more often, so the XP gain is not as much, so therefore hunters are not as superior in levels, whereas we see solo and mid? You know what I mean? That's where I'm eager to see. Like, are they trying to stop the hunter from leveling so quickly and out leveling? It's just. Now, granted, you have snowball effects that occur. I don't know. What are your thoughts there, just on kind of the level difference that occurs with a hunter staying in lane with mana?
I like where you're going with that. I'm not sure yet, but I like the fact that if that is true, especially you being a Guardian player, I think that's probably the most annoying thing for people to
Yeah.
even try to play Guardian. When you look at your Hunter and he's level 17 and you're 13,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, what is this? I'm getting shredded because they have this huge level advantage over me.
Yeah. Yep.
So maybe I don't know if that's going to be the effect that the levels kind of balance out a little bit, but I
Sure,
hope so.
sure.
This is another reason why I don't really play Guardian, because I never felt like a Guardian. Like I had to get Watcher's Gift. I had
Yeah.
to get Midas Boots. I'm like, these aren't even tank items. Like, what
Yeah.
am I doing? I gotta
Yep.
get Hog 3 online.
Well, it's
I mean,
funny because you point out some great things. Common for me. I start out with Watcher's Gift, 4 mana potions, and 4 health potions. Okay, that's a standard start for a Guardian. You buy the mana because you're going through mana so quickly in order to stay in lane and survive. Same thing with the health pots there. That's fine, but you're buying that Watcher's Gift, not a tanky item, to go ahead and go back. Or I'm sorry, to go ahead and get you the additional XP and gold and stuff. Then you go ahead and go into Midas Boots to do the exact same thing. Then finally, by your third item, you're finally into something.
Third item, not a cheap third item.
You go into Sovereignty. So I can understand it. And it's interesting because I'm eager to see the direction they go with Guardians and the PTS. I've seen some people say, you're not going Watcher's Gift anymore. You're going with Mark of the Vanguard. As a starting item within it. So I'm eager to see the direction they go with it because it's such a pain in the ass, I'll be honest with you, when you're playing as a Guardian and your first few items, as we talked about, are just to try to stay up there. And you made a great point. Even though you get those Midas Boots, even though you get those Watcher's Gift, you're still multiple levels behind. Because 1, you don't have the clear in your lane to go ahead and stay on top of XP. And 2, you're not really picking off the kills to gain the additional XP. So what is it? I have to ask, really. It's a good question for High Rise to say, what can be done about Guardians to make it more attractive and more fun to play as a support? Because right now, you're always behind. You're not clearing lanes. You're not really getting kills. So what is it? I mean, so just a thought out there for those developers working the late night, watching us,
I agree. When you're level 20 with a support and you have your 6 slotted, it's fun. Because you can actually go in there, run around, do your thing, block for people, set up people. You can actually stay there for a good amount of time and actually be a tank. So I don't know how they kind of make that feel that way without it being overpowered from the beginning. But that's not my job, man. It's not my job.
Yeah, man. I agree. So let's go ahead here. We will take another email here. You know what? No, let's move on to our third subject here. So we kind of just went over that, actually.
Oh, we did.
That's okay. So our third subject, those of you guys aren't familiar, FG puts together the show for us, and it's just kind of talking points, things we want to talk about during the show. And the third subject was Octane's thoughts on Guardians. But we can go into some other things outside of items a little bit there. As we talked about, we're seeing a lot of Ares being picked up right now. A lot, I think almost every game in the PTS, Ares was getting picked up. And I'm kind of surprised about that. I want to see what changes were done to him. It doesn't look like any changes were done to him.
Ares was in the Smite World Championship.
Whoa!
That is a byproduct.
How about the Ares Bakasura in the Smite World Championship? That was awesome to watch, by the way. So if we go through the list here of God changes that we do see coming out, I'm just going to scroll through it right now. I do have it up. I'll go ahead and put a link in chat for you guys. I wanted to go ahead and see if there were any changes made to any actual straight-up Guardians. I do see a change to Hercules, but he's a warrior. Let's see here. Sobek. So it looks like Sobek and Sylvanas. So we talked about Sylvanas earlier, how Wisp are only affecting gods now. They're not affecting minions at all for the heal, and I believe for the damage. It doesn't say in the notes it also is the damage, but from what I've heard from chat, it's the damage, is the minion damage as well. But Sobek here. So let's talk about Sobek. Blessing of the Nile increases protections from 5 to 7 per stack. So a little tankier there with that. And Lurking in the Waters. That's his ultimate.
Finally, that's really good.
Slow increase from 15 to now scaling. So it's 50. I'm sorry. Let me say that again. Slow increase from 15%, which is important there, to scaling now at 15, 20, 25, 30, and 35%. So at late game, it's kind of cool that slow is effective, and it's interesting because the slow is becoming more powerful. There isn't a cripple being affected into it. Can you imagine a Sobek with a cripple in his ultimate?
Yeah.
That'd just be rough, but it's just a slow. So what are your thoughts on Sobek? You kind of got excited a little bit there talking about his ultimate and that change coming.
That's good, man. I mean, if you didn't pop his ult like right under someone, they're just gonna walk away from you. Like it wasn't really good at like getting most people. And most people had sprint because you're probably gonna try to gank somebody in the long lane, so they had sprint or something, and it just wasn't good enough to always secure
Yeah.
kills.
Yep.
So now finally, if you grab somebody in there, there's a very good chance they'll actually stay in there and actually take a bunch of damage. It's always been a fantastic zoning tool, and now it can actually get some damage secured on it. So I like that. I like his passive. It's not, it's okay. It's not my favorite passive in the world. Like if the Blessing of Nile, right? You hit, and every time you hit something, you get more and more protection.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, that's okay. You know what? I'd rather see something really overpowered. I would rather see right now. I think it's 3. I believe once you hit people with this 3, they get healing reduction. Right? They can't heal as well.
Yep.
I would love for him to have something that would like take away lifesteal from people too. That would be awesome. Bring Sobek back.
That would be interesting. Probably in the last like few weeks now, I've actually seen people try to actually a few people will be effective with Sobek's solo lane, which is quite interesting to be honest with you.
School, man.
Yeah,
really old school.
yeah. Some people trying to bring that back a little bit. So a little bit there. I'd be interested. Chat room, Twitch chat room here. Who you guys have been seeing? Go ahead and post in chat just kind of the person's name. What Guardian have you been seeing, or what god have you been seeing playing the support role in your Conquest games? Has it been Ares as to what I've been seeing? Has it been Athena? There's been a lot of messages in chat about that. Is it Geb? Is it Sylvanas? A lot of talk against Sylvanas, but has it been Sylvanas still a decent amount? What about Ymir? We saw a lot of Ymir at SWC. And it looks like people are kind of rolling in right now. A decent amount of Athena there, which is interesting. Ares there. Hades. I saw Hades the other day. I was amazed. To see Hades. Trying to think. Yeah, a lot of Athena, a lot of Ares.
Wow.
Yeah, so Athena, without a doubt. Ymir there. So mostly Athena, though. Wow, I'm impressed.
Athena jungle is fantastic.
Yes,
I know some person in there asked, why would you do Athena jungle? Athena jungle is fantastic. Being able to set up kills for your lanes when you come out to gank, and of course the global presence. Yeah. There's nothing better than rotating over to the solo lane, gank over there, and then teleport to the long lane and gank over there. It's really, really awesome. You get assists, you get kills. Athena's legit. Always been. And she has probably top 5 voice pack in the game.
Sure. I like it. So we're gonna go throw a curveball into things. We're gonna take a quick break actually. We're about an hour and 9 minutes in, hour and 10 minutes in. We're just gonna take a quick 5-minute break. Everyone get up, stretch the legs, grab a smoke break, grab a drink, and we'll be back here in about 5 minutes. We're gonna go ahead and just take a quick break, and then we'll be back to get some more calls in here, give you guys a chance to load up raid call. Don't forget the ID is 7461039, and also on top of that, feel free to email us SmiteTalk@gmail.com. And we'll be back here in just a minute here, guys. So see you guys in 5 minutes. All right, folks, we are back and coming back to you here with Smite Talk. Once again, you guys can go ahead and get in touch with us and send in emails. You can call in via Raid Call. Raid Call is raidcall.com and 746-1039. Or you can go ahead and email in, and we're going to take your emails and talk all about them. The email is smitetalk@gmail.com. So, FG, you ready to do this?
I was ready 5 minutes ago before we took the break.
What? Yo, I had to get my chalice here of drinking.
Sure.
Delicious.
Nice.
So one thing I actually thought about, I didn't mention at the top of the show, what have I been up to a little bit recently. I'm now also a moderator on the High Res official forums for just the Xbox section. So just the Xbox section. So if I can help in any way with Xbox, with Smite guys, please let me know. I am a moderator on there, so I will do the best I can to help you out to get you pointed in the right direction as need be. So let's go ahead and jump back into it here. This question is coming to us from Wacky Milkman. I swear he made this email account just emails. He says, "Hey guys, love the show. So one of the biggest god balances I've seen is the nerf to Nox. Other than really needed damage scaling nerf, what do you guys feel about the Siphon Darkness nerf?" What are our thoughts, I guess, what they're saying. "I feel that the cooldown on it is okay. It could be hard staying in team fights if a melee god like Loki burst you. So what are your thoughts? I feel like the damage scaling nerf was needed, but the cooldown on the Siphon Darkness seemed silly." So let's go ahead here. We're going to go ahead and bring up the information. I'll post it in chat to show you guys what changes actually are occurring for Nox here that'll be coming out for tomorrow. And
this is a terrible question for me.
Okay.
Absolutely
Nox,
terrible.
Siphon Darkness says increase the cooldown from 3 seconds to 4 seconds. So a little bit longer to use it. And on top of that, reduce the magical power scaling from 60 to 50. Dude, Nox hits like a truck right now. When you go ahead against her, a lot of Nox I've seen in mid, it is unbearable to really go against her. Siphon Darkness is so strong. It does so much damage to you, and the reach is unbelievable. So, and now maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the range is the same as every other middle lane mage, but I feel like the range is just ridiculously far. And maybe that's just me. But with Siphon Darkness, I can understand why they made the adjustment to reduce the magical power scaling from 60 to 50. If anything, I'd love to see it go from 60 to 40, even more.
Whew.
But we'll have to see a little bit at a time.
Sam will Nox again.
Oh, I know, right? Hey, don't say that. But as for the cooldown, I can understand it. They're trying to nerf it from two sides. If you guys notice, when you were going against a Nox, like in mid, every 3 seconds getting a chance to cast that. Are you joking? Like, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So I can understand the 4 seconds without a doubt. What are your thoughts?
At the top of the show, I was talking about what I was up to in Smite, and I was mastering guys that I haven't mastered yet. So I'm not going to front. Nox and Hebo are 2 gods I do not have mastered.
Okay.
So I'm not going to speak like I know exactly what I'm talking about.
Whoa, whoa.
I will say when it comes to those abilities, because I used to play old Nuwa with her range 3, Vulcan, for example, those abilities are they're really iffy to balance in the mid range. Hebo's Water Spout, those abilities always have been historically imbalanced or too strong or too weak. They've always been that way. And
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's just a product of that, having a ranged poke like that, just really, really hard to balance. But, like I said, I don't play Nox.
Somebody made a comment in chat.
says.
I like the mana adjustment, though. I love to see a little mana adjustment to kind of almost, punish you for the constant casting every 3 seconds.
Sure.
To go ahead and add a little mana there. So I like that idea. That's not such a bad idea at all. So we have a question here coming from Michael. He says, "You guys missed the mark with the new Neath Carnival skin. As of late skins have been great, but the sound effects and voice packs of this skin is just irritating and fake to me." So we kind of talked a little bit about the Neath there a little bit. Do you think they rushed the Neath skin? Does it feel like it?
I don't know what went into making the voice pack, but it looks like maybe they used somebody from that region like maybe a voice actor from that region to make it more authentic sounding or something,
Okay.
or maybe they didn't have this high level of, I don't know. It doesn't seem as good as, Buccaneath, for example. It doesn't sound as good as that at all, or Misdiagnosis or any of her other skins. So I know what they're talking. When you hear it, it's an apparent quality level difference when it comes to those two things. And
Interesting.
I don't know. And a lot of people say the same thing about Chimichanga, and I love it. So maybe it's just different ears have different. When you hear like an accent, sometimes people react to it differently. You know what I mean? Like people hear an American accent. I'm like, what the heck is an American accent? I don't know what you guys are talking about. But some people hear it, and it's like grating, like, American accent, or that Australian accent from Shredder Hebo is so wrong. And I'm like, sounds like an Australian accent to me. So maybe that has something to do with it, but
okay, no, definitely. This one comes to us from Daniel. He says, I'm relatively good at playing gods out of role, but I can't figure out how to build out of role in each lane. So I guess he's saying out of role, like not his main, I guess is what he means. What should each role be specializing in? ADC should have blank, mid should have blank, etc. So,
do you want to divide and conquer on this one?
Sure. So for me, support, and I have to base this off of the current meta, not the upcoming PTS. So this might be a little irrelevant because of the fact of things coming out tomorrow. But with the current meta, it's definitely, I feel like with, I'll go off of support right off the back. Sovereignty is a must. I feel like Sovereignty somewhere in your build. Most of the time, you'll see it third. After Watcher's Gift and Midas Boots is kind of the start that you see. Some people may alter that quite a bit, but for me, it's always, Watcher's Gift, Midas Boots, Sovereignty, almost 9 out of 10 times. Let's see, with ADC, with ADC, I think Warrior Tabby is one of the bigger ones there. That is kind of your must-have item right off the back as you're starting out with that, kind of those boots. I'm trying to think any other staple item that you're seeing. I mean, kin size seems to be a big one with ADCs right now as well, which almost seems to be like a staple item. What about? Well, I'll let you take a few. Go for it.
I don't know. I mean, I guess to dumb it down, I think for example, ADCs, they kind of have to focus on attack speed, penetration, and lifesteal nowadays, right? That's kind of like the new flavor build right now, is just getting a lot of pen, a lot of attack speed, and some lifesteal for good measure. And that's what you do as a hunter. That's how you're going to succeed as a hunter. You already said Guardian, so I'm not going to touch that.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to solo, it's all about there's no set builds in the solo lane. Right. It really depends on what you're playing against more so. So there's a lot of strategy that happens while you're still in the fountain, trying to debate who is going to go in the solo lane. Right. Sometimes you have no idea who's going to go solo, and you're sitting there like, oh God, do I buy physical or do I buy magical? Right. So when it comes to the solo lane, it's really kind of anti-building, right? If you're going against somebody that's physical, you might pick up. And I still do this. A lot of people don't actually do this, but I still do. Like if I go Chang'e and I'm going against like a Hercules over there, sometimes I'll leave the base with rank 2 Breastplate of Valor to get physical protection, to get a nice start with plenty of mana, blue buff, my bunny sending me pots, right? they're depending on what you're going against in soloing, really. And I would never do that in another lane. I would never buy Breastplate of Valor if I was going to go mid Chang'e, for example, which you shouldn't do in the first place. But that's just a good example. So solo lane is all about countering who you're going against. And then jungle is pretty generic. I think jungle, you're typically always going to go Bumba's Mass unless you're playing like Thanatos. Then you're just going to go Death's Toll, talking about the old meta, just like Octane said. That's really just going to be it. Bumba's Mass, movement speed with your boots, get some type of penetration item or some type of cooldown item, and then just go. A lot of assassins always, I'm going to say most assassins need to build some type of vanity defensive item, like a Magi's Blessing or a Spirit's Robe, something to keep you safe, because if you're an assassin, you're squishy, you're jungle, you're jumping in and out of lanes, people are going to CC you fast and early, so you need to have some type of defensive item, like a Magi's Blessing, to make sure that you're not just instantly locked down when you come out. There's nothing worse than coming out of your lane trying to gank someone, a Ymir Frost breast you, and they just walk away. Like, there's nothing worse. You have Magi's Blessing, you're like, whatever, dude, I'm still here.
Yeah,
so
somebody,
those are a couple of the staples there.
Somebody made a comment regarding sovereignty, and yes, they kind of broke up sovereignty a bit. Where was it?
Yeah, sovereignty is now 2 items. Now you have like vice versa with sovereignty.
Yeah, you kind of have to decide what direction you're going. What was it? It's called Hearth. What is that called?
It's called Hearthstone.
Hearthstone? Yeah.
Yeah.
You're unbelievable.
When you buy the item, you get a coin that'll allow you to
oh my word!
Buy 1 item for free.
You're that guy. You're that guy. Heartword Amulet. Heartword Amulet.
There you go.
So you kind of have to, it kind of breaks off into 2 there now with sovereignty, which is quite interesting. I'm really happy with that. Those are kind of like your must-haves. I mean, Spiteful One in chat points it out very well. Like, you end up buying both pretty much because, as you guys know, as a guardian, you kind of a lot of the times alternate what type of protective item you're buying. Like, a lot of the times, traditionally right now, you would do like Watcher's Gift, Midas Boots, and then Sovereignty. And then your next item after that might be like a magical protection item. Well, that's where you're going to see like one or the other one of these come into place and kind of flip-flop. So both really good items. I thought I heard the price was coming down a little bit on that. Am I right?
Yeah, they're supposed to be made cheaper.
Price reduced from $2,550 to $2,100. So that's kind of nice right there as well.
So let me throw this question out to you, Mr. Octane. So you and Spike were talking about buying both items. Is that something that you're going to do every game, or you're going to kind of watch and say, you know what, this mage is 0 and 5. Maybe I'm not going to pick up this ammo because I don't need any more magic power. Or are you just going to buy those as staples and just knock them out?
For me as a guardian, and I didn't play a ton of guardian, a ton of support on the PTS, but looking at guardians and the way that I play them in the past, if I'm still starting out with those 2 starter items like Watcher's Gift and Midas, that third item is going to be very contingent, of course, on the ADC I'm playing against. Who they are and how aggressive they are. If you have someone that's super aggressive, getting that physical protection is kind of a no-brainer right there for the third item. But if I have a little bit more opportunity, I might go the other way. And it's the same thing moving forward with the additional items. It all depends on the direction and the way things go. We always like to say, and we always like to tell people too, that do not follow a cookie cutter build. It will never work 100% of the time in regards to being the optimal build. Your build is always situational, and I think that's super important for people to remember, that nothing will work 100% of the time. There's a lot of people I've started to come across recently that are like, I only play Thanatos, I only play jungle. And they're the same people that tell me they do the same build every single game, and it drives me nuts because it's like, you're not. I don't know what to say. Like, it's like, come on.
Depends on the flow,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Absolutely. And I just said this like 5 minutes ago, and I'm going to take it back, but I'm not really taking it back. If you're playing Assassin and you're like super far ahead, maybe you don't buy the Magi's Blessing that game. Maybe you just keep on trying to snowball.
Yeah.
Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I err on the side of caution, like, okay, I'm ahead, I'm not going to need any more damage, so I'm going to go Magi's. But keeping yourself fluid in your build choices is going to make you much, much better.
Sure. Definitely. So let's go ahead here. We'll go ahead and pick up a caller here. Ronger the Wise. Welcome to Smite Talk. How's it going?
Doing good.
Dude, awesome. So what do you want to talk about today? The floor is yours, sir.
As a Zeus main, I was wondering how, since Hi-Rez is kind of nerfing really top picks to kind of bring out some other picks to kind of compete in the higher levels.
Yep.
I was wondering what would have to be done to like bring Zeus and some underplayed mages back into the kind of spotlight.
You ever play Zeus with attack
clear,
speed?
Man.
Zeus with attack speed. Yeah, I agree with you, FG. Go ahead, take it away. I was just joking around. What do you got?
I mean, his clear is just it's not the best clear that you can have in the mid, especially with the mids that you're going to be up against. Back in the day when half these mages weren't in the game, Zeus was just fine in mid. But nowadays, I mean, if you go against someone that has like a double clear, for example, you're going to be at such a big disadvantage. They just have to do something with its chain lightning, make it spread a little bit easier so you can like maybe hit the entire wave. I don't know if that's overpowered. I have no idea.
Yes, some more yes. God, it already spreads far enough. What are you talking about?
I know. It used to spread farther back in the day. It used to bounce more. But I think it's clear just puts him at too much of a risk. If you're going against like an ISIS, for example, I mean, there's just so many people. It's not him. It's who he's going against.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they could do to Zeus to keep him as strong as he is. And when I say strong, I mean when he was like old Zeus. Like, I don't know how to bring him from old Zeus to the new Zeus. That middle ground, I don't know if that middle ground even exists.
I've been noticing.
Play him in Siege and Arena.
I mean, I can agree with you. The lane clear and sustain is a little rough on Zeus. What I mean by that is like he doesn't have an escape. You know, if you're gonna, let's say you play him in mid lane, I guess. He doesn't really have an escape there per se. On top of that as well, his lane clear is not amazing. I mean, it's decent. It's okay. Some of the people that have played Zeus that I've seen do decently well go the whole attack speed Zeus. Like, just go straight attack speed with Zeus in order to be a little more effective with lane clear. But I haven't seen a lot of really good options for Zeus right now. I mean, he's great. He's amazing in the right hands, especially with attack speed. It's just so scary because the amount of stacks he can get on you and the detonate that he can apply so quickly. It's just dumb. But, Ronger the Wise, what are your thoughts on Zeus? It sounds like you're kind of a hardcore dedicated Zeus fan. What are you noticing? Do you find Zeus is clear to be kind of not up to par with some of the other mages?
Like, compared to some of the other mages like Nox or Scylla, who can clear very well while being extremely safe about it, Zeus, you have to get pretty close, and you have to take a lot of harass to actually clear the wave. And even with the detonate, I like maxing out my detonate first.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
And so I can't even clear the wave, like, completely without having to do a Q, then his number one ability, then detonating it, and then having to add another couple autos early while taking tons of harass.
You do all of that in a predictable fashion. Like, people know how you're going to clear the wave, and they can punish you for that. And if you play jungle and you see a Zeus in mid, you're like, I'm gonna gank middle as many times as I want. So yeah, I don't really know, man. But I love him in Siege. He's so much fun in Siege.
Dude, I see people. Oh man, Zeus is a beast. Well, good. It's a good one. I appreciate the question about Zeus. We don't really hear a lot about Zeus often enough. So, any other questions for us today?
No, that was about it.
All right. Well, thank you for calling in. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on.
All of our callers are so polite. They're like, "Thank you. You're awesome." They're so nice. All right, so this one's this email here comes to us from Nick. He says, "Hey guys, first time tuning in, but tell FG those YouTube videos aren't coming fast enough."
Oh my god,
man!
Hanging out with Octane. Let me hang up right now. All right, I'm going. I'm gonna go record some videos, guys.
YouTube. Yeah, you were the guy.
I only have one hand. I got push to talk. I couldn't put them on.
Why you use push to talk is beyond me when you're on an open mic radio style show. Beyond me.
I always know when I'm going to say something or laugh, so I'm ready. I'm already ready.
Anyways, he says, at any rate, I've been building Thor support. Just about every match, I get him in Assault. Okay, so a little different here. When he's playing him in Assault, he's building him more of a support style role. At first, I read that and was like, oh man, this is going downhill quick. He says, and I've heard that he can be used as a support. I'm just curious on your thoughts about him in that role. So he also says, keep up the great work. Show is awesome. Thanks, Nick. So what are your thoughts on Thor in the support role in Assault? I want to make sure I specify here. Not Conquest, Assault.
Wow.
What do you think?
Well,
what do you think?
I will say that you can, and you're going to hate me for saying this, you can play any god in support if they have a hard TC. Done. Drop the mic. I'm out. If they have a hard TC, play them in support.
It sounds like you're playing that god Naja a little too much.
I don't see why not. Assault. I mean, all the rules are thrown out the window at that point. I don't know. But if you talk about Conquest, I know this is not your question, but I'm gonna throw it out there anyway. Because really, there's not really a support in Assault. There's just somebody that initiates.
Well, it all depends on your initiator is kind of determined when you're looking at the matchmaking algorithm they use, and they try to get you to have at least one. A lot of times you see one guardian, and a lot of times one warrior. So you may see Ares Chuck or something like that.
Yeah. So I mean, when you're talking about like a support in Assault, this is you being Thor, ulting up, saying, ultimate is ready, attack, and then going down and hoping everybody follows you. So I don't know if that's really support, but if you want to talk about conquest, I think it could work. I mean, Fenrir support works, Nija support works, and they work because they have hard stuns and they can lock down people, so...
I think the Thor
HP's a problem though.
Yeah, Thor support and assault I think could be effective if you guys recall, the matchmaking system goes ahead and creates the team, and then you have the opportunity to go ahead and reroll. If people reroll to the point where you don't have someone to initiate and you don't have someone to play that support role to initiate, I think having Thor as your initiator per se and building him tankier is effective. With his first ability with the hammer, with the teleport on that, or even the ultimate allows you to initiate in that fashion. I don't recommend it. I mean, I love having an Ares or a Geb or a Sylvanas or someone like that. They always will initiate better because they have the protections right off the back in order to withstand it. But Thor is kind of a cool idea, to say the least, because you do have the CC with the stun of your ultimate, same thing with the wall, and you have a decent amount of damage, AoE damage with your third ability, and a little bit of clear with your first ability. So not too shabby, not a bad question there. So let's go ahead and move on to our last topic here. And of course, we have plenty of other questions, guys. But FG, what's our last topic here?
My thoughts on the solo lane. I think we kind of covered a lot of this stuff already, but I'm going to go through it anyway.
Okay.
So the new and improved solo lane. So
improved,
couple of things.
Improved with.
I think so, man. I think so. I mean,
all right.
I think a lot of things have opened up a little bit.
Okay.
You're going to start seeing a couple of hunters over there. Of course, you've seen Shibalanke over there.
Yep.
You might even see Uller over there, maybe Blue Stone and Blue Buff, and just going crazy over there, just spamming mana. Maybe. Thanatos solo, yes. Thanatos solo. He has an indirect buff with Death Toll, since he's not gonna. There's a thing called item budget. So if you have a lot of different things on your item. Like let's say if you have like Jotuns, it's balanced because it has mana on it, for example. So Thanatos gets an indirect buff because they've kind of downplayed the mana on Death Toll and up the lifesteal on it. So indirect buff to Thanatos solo. So you might even see Thanatos solo over there. Wukong, I don't see the man coming back. I know a lot of people have been wanting to see Sun Wukong back in the solo lane, or even support back in the days. I don't see him, man. I'm trying to think of scenarios.
Nope.
I don't see him coming back mid. Like, he was mid for a little while. Sun Wukong was the man. He jungled for like the first week of the patch.
Yeah, I remember that.
I don't see Sun Wukong. I'm gonna look in the chat real quick and see if anybody has anything to say about Mr. Sun Wukong. But I don't see him coming back into the meta, unfortunately.
Okay.
Loki, for example, with the Crusher. There's so many Lokis that are so much better than me when it comes to just being slippery and always being at the towers. Like, they're always there. Like, you're pushing down an enemy Phoenix. You're like, yeah, we're going to win this game. Meanwhile, Loki is on the other side of the map taking your Phoenix. Like, how did you get over there? I think Crusher is going to make him even better. So I look forward to seeing those top-level, diamond-level Lokis with Crusher doing their thing. Maybe even a Mercury solo. We might bring him back with Crusher.
That's a good pick.
Wow.
Yeah.
Watch out for that.
Yeah, Mercury with Crusher would be deadly.
So there's just all kinds of good stuff. Cupid solo. Yeah, I said it. Cupid solo is the thing with Crusher once again. I'm talking about Crusher.
Okay.
With his dash away plus his movement speed is fantastic. Yeah, I think the solo lane is going to be switched up quite a bit. And there's one last item I want to talk about when it comes to the solo lane, because a lot of people think that solo lane is this dull lane that's always boring and people never die
Solo
over there.
Island.
Solo Island. Maybe we see what is it? I'm sorry. Achilles' spear.
Oh yeah.
Making an appearance over there in the solo lane to make it more deadly. Right? If you think you're outplaying your opponent, you pop Achilles' spear and then shut them down. Maybe that happens. Maybe it's not just a big slap box over there anymore. So I'm looking forward to it, man. I think solo lane is going to benefit a lot from these changes because there are so many more items. There are so many gods that can go over there and be efficient. So I think of course I'm biased, but I think, and Dare to Care is in the chat right now saying, no, screw that. Solo lane is not going to change too much. You listen to him over me. But I do think solo lane is going to be fun. I definitely think solo lane is going to be fun. And yes, Thanatos solo Golden Bow. Thank you, Swagny. Golden Bow and Thanatos solo is the thing to do. Trust me.
Yeah. So Next email here comes from Tyler. It says, hey guys, I'm a semi-new player in Smite. I stopped playing Smite for a good 3.5 months and just started to play again. Well, welcome back. He says, I'm only level 12, so not that experienced. I decided to start off with a god I've never played but was familiar with the role. I'm normally an assassin type, so I picked a Wheelix, and I understand how she works, but was hoping for some help from the pros. If you could give me some build tips or ways for playing her better, that would be greatly appreciated. Well, there's no pros right here on this show, but we could give you our recommendations coming from playing the game a while, casual players, and knowing a decent amount about the gods in the games, but not necessarily from a pro perspective. A Wheelix really comes down and can be limited to if you don't have enough knockup on your team, because she ends up being limited by her abilities. So there's a lot of other gods that pair very nicely with a Wheelix that you can benefit from. I wouldn't jump to a Wheelix right off the back just because you want to play that god as jungler. You really need to go ahead and look at who is on your team and how you can effectively combo. You know, as a Wheelix, you're going to be playing jungle. So rotating left and right, when are you going to go ahead and initiate? How are you going to initiate? And can you use her abilities to the full potential is the big question. You know, what gods have the knockup? Are you rotating over to dual lane and you have a Geb that has the knockup ability ready and waiting so that you can use that? Same thing with Geb's ultimate. You know, you really need to combo your items together or your abilities together with the gods. So, you know, looking outside of pro tips and stuff like that, just something basic and simple, which is extremely important, especially when you're picking up someone like a Wheelix. Any thoughts for you for a Wheelix there, Mr. FG?
Well, don't forget. I mean, if you're in the jungle and you, most people are going to run from you when they see you. Moonlight Charge is a good way to make your own combo, right? So
yeah, yep.
Sometimes, I mean, it just really depends on how good you are and how comfortable you are. But I think when you come out to a lane, most people try to run from you instantly, and they turn their back on you. And then you know, Moonlight Charge and then Ultimate and bring them back. So I mean, you know, other than that, totally agree.
Okay, sounds good. Moving on here, let's go ahead and bring in Darth Bill 476. So let's go ahead and here. Darth Bill, welcome to Smite Talk. How's it going?
Hello.
You got to hit the push to talk button or change it to free talk, bottom right hand corner. I know you're there. I just spoke with you. I know you're there. Maybe not. All right, I'll wait for him to send me a message back.
Rip.
Alrighty, so one of our another questions here come to us from Jesse. It says, I've heard somewhere, don't recall the source, that this season will introduce items that have active uses without being considered actives. Do you anticipate?
No, that's another thing we glossed over.
Yeah, he says, do you anticipate an item with an Eye of Providence-esque type of use supports a benefit from constant warding without losing an active spot, since Guardians really only have one active spot? That makes sense because you are getting a hog. If you're familiar with League of Legends, something like Sightstone. So not familiar with League of Legends, maybe you are, but what are your thoughts on just kind of okay? What are your thoughts on kind of this active use type of style that he's talking about?
I don't think we'll ever see it in Smite. I don't think we'll ever see actives like in, because there's an item in League of Legends. I thought it was something Lantern, but that guy probably played League of Legends more recently than I have. But it was an item that had stats, right? So just think of Jotuns. I'm just going to throw that out there. Just pretend Jotuns had a secondary ability to allow you to place a ward every 3 minutes, right? Wow. I don't think we'll ever see that in Smite because just the controls. Like where else would you put that button? I mean, you could. There's still way more buttons on the keyboard.
Yep.
But where would it be, right? You would, I don't know. I don't know if they're ever going to go that route. And I think with all these other items that have come into the game, where if you do something like if you heal, you get a buff. If you heal, you get speed. Like I think that's their idea of putting actives in the game. Activatable actives. I don't know if you'll ever see, just because of the control scheme, I don't know if you're going to see Dota 2 levels of, I bought this sword, and if I press 1, it has a spark effect that does spread damage. Sure. I don't think you'll see that in Smite, just because of the control scheme, but maybe. You never know. Might be the next thing.
That's a good question. This one actually comes from Chris Patterson. He says, as a PC Smite player and an overall PC video game player, how difficult would it be to switch over to Xbox? Would it be better to get an Xbox controller and practice on the PC, then transfer to console? Or should I just go for the console? Do you think it would be easy transition or one of those transfers that you need to relearn the game? So I'm going to throw this to UFG. You had an opportunity to play Smite on the Xbox One at the Smite World Championship. What were your thoughts on it just transitioning from PC to Xbox with the limited time that you did?
To answer that, I'll say that I'm not going to port my account over. So I'm not going to bring my level 30 account over to the Xbox. I'm going to start at level 1.
Hey, look at you.
Everything together with, because it's totally different. So I think you just wait until the Xbox version comes out and play that version, just because the speeds are going to be a little bit different. Like unless you can find, there's probably somewhere online that has the exact button layouts, and maybe you do that and map the buttons exactly. Then sure, that you can get some practice in. But I don't know, man. I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna start at level 1. And I'm going to relearn the game brand new with the Smite, with the Xbox controller. I don't want to jump into level 30 and play with like pro level Halo players and pro level Smite players. And I don't want to be grouped with that just yet. I want to start at level 1 and I want to relearn everything.
I really like that idea. I didn't even think about it at all of doing that. But that does sound very effective, without a doubt. It'll be interesting. I think when Smite comes out on the Xbox, I'll probably end up playing and streaming a lot of it. I know you'll probably do the same thing.
It's easy. You can just be on your couch just streaming.
Yeah, but see, here's the. Okay, so Xbox One does have a really cool streaming feature. So for those of you guys, just to kind of put this out there, those of you guys that are looking to get into streaming but can't afford it to build a streaming computer, the Xbox has a built-in streaming system with it, and it actually works, and it's actually really good. So it will be contingent on your upload speeds though that you are getting at your house to make sure that they're decent. But the Xbox One will go ahead and actually throttles the quality and kind of your bitrate usage based on the upload and your bandwidth available. So you don't set up all the stream settings and everything. You just go in there, set your Twitch information in there, hit stream, and it starts to stream, and it uses the microphone that came with your Xbox for the headset, and that's it. But you had talked about streaming it. I probably won't stream Xbox when I am on my couch playing, and the only reason is because of the fact that you can't add overlays, you can't add webcams, you can't add any of that through the Xbox. It's just straight up gameplay. But good thought there. But outside that, from Xbox, I think that's a great idea actually to start out fresh and new and right off the back. And dude, I haven't played Smite at an early level like that. Not having all the gods or anything for over 2.5 years. So that'd be kind of cool. You know what I mean? I'm that'd be kind of cool.
I mean, you really are a new player. It's not really, I don't really feel like it's smurfing because it's you're brand new. You're brand new.
Yeah, but the thing is you have a better understanding of items. So you're going to know, you're not going to do auto buy or auto level because you're going to know that. So that kind of surpasses that new player style. You know the gods. You know what gods counter what gods and what abilities gods have. So
all right.
You're not a new player. Now, granted, you're new to the controller set, and I can understand that. That portion I can understand, but give it a week and you'll be golden. You know what I mean?
Golden in League? Nice.
No. Let's look here. We'll take a few more questions.
It says I can play the Xbox version with the keyboard and mouse.
Yeah. Does that not defeat the purpose now?
Well, Razer is coming out with this awesome keyboard and mouse. I don't work for Razer. I don't get paid for Razer. But Razer is making this awesome little couch-based keyboard and mouse with a magnetic mouse.
Really?
So that it doesn't slide off, but it still moves correctly. It's pretty awesome. Maybe that's cool. What you do. Come back with the keyboard and mouse and...
You're that guy. That guy. So let's go ahead and we'll bring Darth Bill back in here. Darth Bill, welcome to Smite Talk. How's it going?
Can you guys hear me?
We can. Yeah. Good to go. So what would you like to talk about today?
Correct.
Maybe. We heard you. You got to hit push to talk again. Maybe. Or set it to free talk. Bottom right hand corner. We heard you. Wonder if he didn't set up his speakers or something like that. All right, we'll drop him back. Oh, you there?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us? Can you hear us? Yes, we can. You can't hear us. Hello? You good? You get it fixed?
Oh, well.
Okay, we'll drop him back down there. Let's go ahead here and take another email here. Guys, we're going to go ahead and round out the show here in about 10 minutes. So, thanks for hanging out with us so far. We'll try to get in as many questions as we can. Says, what is your opinion on the indirect buff to nearly all CC from the nerfs to the anti-CC items? Do you foresee a global nerf to all CC coming? So that's his first question. So what do you think about that, FG?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few, like Magi's has lost this CC reduction bonus. So you only get that hard CC reduction. You don't get an actual percentage.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's other items like Spirit Robe that are actually a little bit better now. Like the stats have better distribution, so that's good. Aegis changed, right? So you can't use Aegis while you're under the effects of CC.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I think a lot of things have changed up and down when it comes to CC. So I think I'll have to kind of see. I don't feel like it was just a flat nerf.
Yeah.
All the CC items are just worse now, and now CC's. I don't know about that just yet.
There's been a lot of adjustments to CC all over the board, so it'll be nice to kind of get a baseline moving forward as we start to look at CC and hard CC and soft CC and stuff like that. So we'll have to see what happens. Let's see here. Another email here from Steven says, I have not been playing very long, but I've noticed a lot of server lag since I've been playing, like the screen freezes, teleporting, etc.
Next question.
I was just wondering, is this going to be worked out in the next patch? It definitely sounds isolated. I do not know.
I mean, it depends on what servers too, right? We don't know if it's America, EU, or Australia.
Yeah, I'd be eager to find out what server you're on. Is it NA or EU or Oceania or whatever? And then outside of that, I don't know if screen freezing, though, and teleporting leads me to believe that your computer is locking up and it's not actually like Smite per se. But I haven't heard of anyone actually having that issue directly with Smite, with just screen freezing up and teleporting from the person that is actually doing it. But I'm not really sure. Some more details would be helpful there. Would be nice.
Support. Hit it to support.
That's right. So Darth Bill didn't get things figured out, but he did go ahead and send us a message. He said, my question was actually about how the Titan cannot be damaged by gods outside of the leashing range, and if it is in its spawn position. So that's right. So what are our thoughts on that? That you can't leash the Titan kind of super far and do the damage.
So was that really like, I don't know, maybe I played a lot of Conquest games, but maybe I just didn't see a lot of that in Conquest. Okay. Like I know like in Joust, for example, that was always like a thing, right? Yeah. Being able to damage him or cross the wall. And so was that more of a change to affect those modes, or is there people in Conquest like that was, I don't feel like that was ever an issue with Conquest. You were either coming in or you were just leaving.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm trying to see here. Yeah, I mean, the exact information on the patch here says Titans will no longer take damage from any source outside of its leashing range while being leashed, or standing at its spawning point. So very, very similar to this question there. Yeah, I didn't see a huge problem with this. The biggest I saw was maybe some of the sub maps some of the sub game modes. That I did see this as a problem, like with 3 vs 3, being able to leash the Titan outside of that throne room area, and move them outside of that. So I don't know necessarily where this directly came from. More information would be nice to have.
Like I only really noticed it in Joust. It felt cheesy in Joust, but I never felt like it was cheesy in Conquest ever. So I think it's more towards that mode.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was definitely something that you notice and like, all right, really, dude, this sucks. This is dumb.
Yeah.
You're throwing tornadoes over the wall and he's not even aggroing you. This is dumb. But
very true.
We'll see. Joust, and it's a good change for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. Somebody in the chat was saying it's more for Giannis. They said, let's see, it's relatively balanced problem. If they have insane burst and you die before you can pop beads. Okay. So Let's see here. We have just a few more questions before we round things out, guys. Email here from Vinny. Says, hey, love the show. AMC has been my favorite god for a long time now, and I got him to Mastery 5. Nice job. The second week I started playing him, do you think the new items are going to change him too much and make him go strong? I guess he means like make him too strong. So what are your thoughts just on what you've seen from AMC and some of the items and stuff like that?
Well, Dare to Care said hunters are not going to do very well in the solo lane, but I must say that Dare to Care is a pro. And the Conquest map is a totally different life.
The casual life, casual queue.
Casual life, casual scrubs.
Yeah, that's right.
I think AMC is going to be. I don't see a big meta change with him. I think you might be able to play him a little bit more now. Like you'll be able to play him on solo lane if you choose to.
Okay.
And then you'll still be able to play him in the ADC role because I think when it comes to clears, he's going to be still probably one of the better ones because he's in the unique position to have a double clear. Like when you think about an Apollo, right? You just do so beautiful and that's your clear, right?
Yeah.
You do like a Cupid, your heart bomb, that's your clear. Where with AMC, you can do his bees and then his honey. I mean, he has a double clear. He's like, he has that advantage. So I don't see him really like changing dramatically, but he's still fun. I'll take him.
No, for sure, without a doubt. I was just kind of reading here. Someone shot us a message, said, hey, let's see if we can get him in. Hey, welcome to SmiteTalk. How's it going, man?
It's going well, thank you. How are you?
Good. So what do you want to talk about today?
I heard FG talking about Wukong in the solo.
What? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And I had a couple questions regarding that because
Go for it.
I thought Hi-Rez did a really good job of readjusting warriors this patch without really touching them. In the way that by taking the pen off boots,
sure,
bulkier warriors have more relevancy. So with that, I just wanted to get your opinion.
So if people don't know exactly what you're talking about, so boots have been back in the days, you bought pin and boots for pretty much all warriors.
Yeah,
I can't think of any instance where you would buy cooldown boots on the warriors in the current meta.
Yeah.
No, I can't think of one. So, but now penetration has been removed from the boots. So now you have attack speed boots, which as a warrior you're not going to use. You have the damage boots, which you could still probably use, and then you have the CC reduction boots. So now you can be like a tanky warrior in the middle of the fight. You get a little bit of HP from it, a little bit of physical power, if I remember correctly. So gods like Wukong that like to get in the thick of it, Tears, for example, like they like to get in the thick of it. So when I talk about Wukong, I think he's good if you can get him. He has kind of like the Xbalanque effect. I don't like him in the laning phase, but I like him in the game. But the problem is I have to go through the laning phase to get to the game.
Sadly.
He's good, but I just don't like him during the laning phase.
Okay.
But what do you think?
I mean, do you go for one or two?
One.
As far as level, yeah. Wait, did you say the one?
Yeah, do you go Cudgel or Warriors?
I say Cudgel.
You said the one, huh?
Yeah, I said Cudgel. Cudgel, without a doubt.
I go for two.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because the thing is that how they changed, what was it, the one that now gives you like 15% on creeps or something?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the problem with that is that if you go through that route, you're one hit clearing the wave, but you're not doing any damage whatsoever.
Yeah.
So whatever is not a creep.
Mm-hmm. You're just limiting that to the creep, yep, and then you don't have the damage available to you with that Cudgel when you do get into a fight or do get into a conflict. Yep.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. I think he might not be as valuable as the top tiers now, but it's definitely better than how it was pre-season 2. I could be very confident in saying that.
Yeah, I
mean,
mean,
he still needs to get touched up a little bit, especially with his one, because it's just a tickle, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in regards to like other warriors, I think he's in a much better place.
He is, and I think there's a lot of potential with him. I think right now is the opportunity too to go ahead and try whatever. I mean, the thing is, you're gonna end up having some Wukong going against people like Hercules or Cyrus or Guan Yu, are kind of the big dolls getting picked up right now. So, yeah.
Guan Yu?
For solo.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Okay,
You've been
good.
playing the PTS? Come on now.
Yeah, I
I
would
guess
take
I'll
T
see.
over him. But yeah,
Yeah, so
sounds interesting.
those are some of the people that you're gonna start to run into more and more. So Sun Wukong definitely an option there. So I like it. I like it. Any other thoughts or questions?
Nah, man, thank you.
Thanks for calling in. I appreciate it. Alrighty, let's see here. So we're gonna go ahead and round out the show. We appreciate all the emails that we got from you guys. Quite a number of them tonight. So 2 hours of questions, comments, discussion about
Wow.
Smite. We do appreciate it, guys. That's what Smite Talk is all about. Giving you guys an opportunity, an outlet to kind of talk about the things you want to talk about with Smite, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Before we go ahead and head out of here, I want to let you guys know as well. Do myself and FG a favor and go directly below this video stream to where it says streamer feedback. Click there and select Octane Pro and leave us feedback. And that feedback goes actually directly to High Res first. And they let us know, hey, you guys could go ahead and let us know, what we're doing great, what we could use some work on, stuff like that. I would appreciate it. So please go ahead and click that streamer feedback button. That would be great. Also, let you guys know as well, if you guys didn't catch the entire show, as you can see up here in the middle between myself and FG, it says now on iTunes. You can check out the show on iTunes. It is on there. All 38 previous episodes are on there. This one here, 39, will be on iTunes as well sometime tomorrow. So make sure that you guys do look for that. It is the audio-only version. So if you're on the way to work, you need something to listen to, you're at the gym, you're at work, and you can't be watching video, but you can be listening to something, go ahead and check it out. Just look up Smite Talk. It is available. Special thanks to High Res Studios for allowing us to stream Smite Talk on their channel, SmiteGame.com. Make sure that you guys do go ahead and follow Smite Game. Also, the show will record moving forward every Tuesday at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/SmiteGame. Before we go ahead and head out of here, FG, where can people find your content, and what are you going to be up to the rest of the week?
I will be living and dying in Conquest all
Oh
week long,
my gosh.
relearning the game. So you definitely catch me in game. Same name as I am right now.
Yep.
But if you can't catch me in game, catch me on YouTube at youtube.com/fitnessgamer3000. I just have last video I uploaded was a Hades video. It was a blast. Check it out. And yeah, I'm hanging out with Octane every Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Do my call thing wrong. I'll do it right for you. Don't worry.
That's right. You're welcome. You're welcome. Outside of that, guys, as well, you could check my content out. Not only with straight streaming, but also with other things like Twitter. Twitter's a great place to follow me. I'm posting on Twitter multiple times a day. If you guys are looking to find out when the next show is, or when we're going to be doing giveaways, or when streaming's going on, Twitter's the best place. Twitter.com/OctanePro, SCII, and then also with YouTube. More and more, I've been pushing YouTube more and more, so I'll be coming out with YouTube videos almost every day, if not multiple times a week, with different YouTube content ranging from Smite gameplay to other games. More recently, I've been playing a lot of Titanfall and Destiny on Xbox, as well as Evolve came out today, so I'll be playing a little bit of that and putting some videos up there as well. So guys, to go ahead and round out the slot for tonight, there's still about 59 minutes left on the slot, so I will be playing viewer games with you guys. I do have a 400 and 800 gem code to give away. So if you guys are looking to win some gems, hang out, and we'll give away some gems here between the games coming up here. We're going to take a short break. Stream will go down for just a minute while I swap over to OBS from XSplit. From myself, from FG3000, we will see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.
Later.